Ladies and gentlemen, and football fanatics of the beautiful game, welcome to another exhilarating episode of Brews and Banter FC. Today, we're diving deep into the riveting world of the English Premier League as we dissect the thrilling events of Matchweek 12. And today, we have a special treat for you. We're delving into the rich histories of two footballing powerhouses, Chelsea and Manchester City, as we unveil carefully curated combined all-time 11. Grab your favorite brew, settle into your favorite chair, and get ready for a roller coaster of emotions. We are your hosts, Redbeard and Targo. Let the banter begin and raise a toast to the beautiful game. Cheers.
Cheers, bud. What's going on, man? What a week of football it was.
What a week of football, controversy, emotions, probably one of the best games of the year in the Premier League, man.
Who, if not the best? You're not
if
wrong.
If not the best. Yes. What a weekend it was. And what are you going to be drinking today to help yourself enjoy these highlights?
So I just tasted it there during our intro, and this is a really good beer, I must say. It's a Hop Valley Brewing.
Yeah.
Stash House, Pineapple Stash House Hazy IPA. It's juice. Alcoholic juice.
Yeah, it's too bad you have such a small beer there.
It is. It is only a 12-ouncer.
Oh, sad day. If only you had another. Well,
if only.
Today I have Deschutes Brewing Jubile Ale, a festive winter ale.
I believe you've had that one before, haven't you?
And I absolutely love it, and I get it every year the first time I see it. And
one of those holiday specials. Gotta
it
have
is.
it.
And I'm not gonna lie, I love winter ales because they're not super heavy, but they're full of flavor, and they're a little on the darker side. So, yeah, definitely would drink again, obviously, because I've had this one before, and this is what my 30th time drinking it. So,
I'm gonna give this Hop Valley 8.5. I'm gonna give it 8.8 out of 10. Man, this was good.
8.8. I'll give Jubile a solid 8.7 since I've had that beer before, and I will say it does taste better than Jubile. So can't rank it higher because it tastes better. All right, Targo, let's get into it.
Yeah, we're starting off with a thriller game too, man. Wolves and Tottenham.
Yeah, man.
This was... So you actually picked Wolves to win, which I was surprised you did. I picked a draw.
So I'll tell you my reasoning. It's injuries and suspensions, and they're playing away from home. And that's really the reason why I picked Wolves.
And so I for those same reasons, picked a draw, but it was close.
It was.
Some late heroics here by Wolves. It ended 2-1 to Wolves. Spurs, man, they got off quick with that song goal. And then in second half stoppage time.
Brennan Johnson scored.
Or Brennan Johnson, sorry, yes, because it was Kulusevski did that back heel
to Pedro
Porro.
Yeah.
Porro through
put the cross heel, in. By the way. What a back heel. Holy crap.
It was all right.
Okay.
When you do them all the time like myself, man, it's all right.
Yeah. Well, you don't see them very often in the professional game.
No, you don't. But, I mean, so this was an interesting game. Like you said, Tottenham, they had their suspensions, their injuries. That defense was interesting, to say the least. Eric Dyer, our Davies back there as center backs.
Yeah, it's an interesting pairing for them.
It was, and you could tell they were missing that, not only the speed, but also, I guess, the ability to read the game from Mickey Van de Ven.
Yeah.
Because definitely the way they play, they rely on him for that.
And with all of his faults, Romero does the same thing very well. You know, he might be very aggressive, borderline violent at times.
Borderline.
But he, he reads the game very well, puts himself in the right positions. So we'll give him that.
And then, of course, you have Emerson Royale as the left back.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
And then it was Højbjerg coming in for James Maddison.
Completely different player. Yeah,
it is, man. They missed Madison's ball control, the way he dictates play. They missed that a lot in this game. And honestly, like watching it, Tottenham came out flying. They got their goal. Honestly, I feel like it was Wolves after that. They were just destroying that right-hand side. Nelson Semedo would have acres of space down there. And Vicario having to come up with saves. It was, I was wondering when the goal would come. And it took a while. But it finally came from Pablo Sarabia. Is it Pablo?
Yes.
What a goal, too, man.
Oh, man. What a first touch as well. Absolutely magical. Controls it straight down to his feet. Smashes it past Vicario at his near post.
Well, he doesn't control it straight down. The ball gets fired at him for one, but he has a cushion enough touch where it kind of just bounces straight up for him to then volley it.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But yeah, that was in the 91st minute. And then Pablo Sarabia, man, would end up being a super sub in this game because he gets the assist for the winning goal. In was it 97th minute?
97th minute, the last kick of the game, man. Wild. Yeah. How many of those have we had this season, too? Quite a few. But yeah, I mean, Sarabia would play through ball, find, is it Mario Lemina?
Yep. He had a fantastic game, too.
Yeah, Mario Lemina. Did. Wonderful quick free kick, catch Spurs off guard. And then the crowd went absolutely wild after this goal, man.
Gary O'Neill went wild.
Yeah, he did. Ran all the way down the sideline. But Sarabia, what a ball. But you could tell at this point in the match how plagued with injuries Spurs were because their backline just looked exhausted.
Tired legs, tired minds, make mistakes.
Yep.
And it took until, second half stoppage time for those mistakes to really show.
I'm dead.
But that loss, man, that sucks for Tottenham. They are now sitting in 4th place.
Yeah. Beginning of this week, sitting top of the table, undefeated in the league. By the time Sunday rolls around, 2 losses and in 4th place.
Yeah, that loss to Chelsea and now a loss to Wolves. And then who they got next? They got Villa next after the international break.
I think it's Villa and then City, if I'm not mistaken.
It is City, yes.
So, like I said, they're finally playing some top-notch teams. Granted, at the time, I didn't think Chelsea would have been in that category. But after this weekend, man, I think I might have to put them up there if they keep playing like this. And Wolves? I mean, they're no slouches.
No, they're sitting in 12th place. They got this win. Gary O'Neill's showing the Premier League what a quality coach he is.
Yeah, it's fantastic to watch.
All right, moving on. We had Manchester United hosting Luton.
Yeah, speaking of teams that, what happens when you have a fantastic coach or not at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What's the story here? Is it the coach? I guess let's look at it. Over the past 5 Premier League games, they're one of the best teams.
They have the most points out of their last 5 games than any other team.
4 wins out of 5 games isn't bad. I mean,
no.
As much as you want to shit on them, I mean, we can talk about that last loss to Manchester City, the loss then to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, and then the loss to Copenhagen.
It's not necessarily the results.
In the Champions League.
It's the way that they're playing with these results, right? Like you would say, probably look down the list of their Premier League games this season and the games that they've actually won. I would say the vast majority of them, they probably didn't deserve to win. That's where the issue is. Manchester United, this club should be blowing teams out the water with how bad some of these teams are towards the bottom of the table.
So here's where I'll argue against that. So yes, they're not playing well. This is a team that really doesn't have an identity with the way they play versus, the teams above them. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, even Villa. You know what you're going to get with them. You know how they're going to play. With Manchester United, you really don't know what you're going to get with them. But to their credit, I mean, they're in 6th place right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not,
I know
a lot of credit.
You're
for
saying
how
the way
bad
they play, but I mean, they're getting 3 points. So, I mean, I know as Manchester United, you expect them to play a certain type of football, but at this point, they're getting 3 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to argue in the league. If you want to look elsewhere, obviously they got dumped out of the Carabao Cup.
Last place in Champions League.
They're last place currently in their Champions League group. So, I mean, there's definitely judgments there.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting, man. Like, you look at Rasmus Højlund, 5 goals in the Champions League, still nothing in the Premier League.
Yeah, and after this game, out injured as well.
And so I do think they'll get a run of games, potentially.
I agree. I
mean,
think they
like
will.
you said, Ten Hag's doing some interesting stuff, whether you agree with it or not.
Well, I mean,
but it's interesting nonetheless.
Grand scheme of things, you look at how many injuries they've been plagued with this season as well. I mean, he has to try some things because he doesn't have his first 11. They're available for selection. So,
I mean, that could be said about every team, though. I mean, Man City are missing Kevin De Bruyne. Arsenal's missing Martin Odegaard. Tottenham are now missing a couple players. Chelsea have been missing Nkunku all season. I mean, I don't really want to hear the injury excuse.
It's not that they have injuries; it's just the sheer amount of injuries. I'm not using it as an excuse.
Lisandro Martinez as probably their one starter. Casemiro.
I mean, Rafael Varane's been hurt most of the season. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been hurt most of the season. Luke Shaw is out.
I would say Luke Shaw is another one. But, I mean, Rafael Varane's been sitting on the bench the past couple weeks, man.
Yeah. No, I understand it. But they've had to start Johnny Evans.
He preferred to play Johnny Evans. And so when he was asked about that, he said for tactical reasons. So it doesn't sound like it's for injury reasons. It's Ten Hag making some interesting choices.
Interesting choices. But that is where I'm going to give him a little bit of leeway. That's all I'm saying.
Well, then you have to give every team leeway. Man City are missing Kevin De Bruyne, so they should be further in first place.
Yeah, but it's Manchester City. You look at their squad and their squad depth. It's 10 times better than any other team around the world. Arsenal, you got Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Thomas Partey, Jurrien Timber all out. Still winning games. They might not look convincing, but scorelines would suggest so.
I mean, arguably, Aston Villa are missing 2 of their best players in Tyrone Mings and Emi Buendia. So, I mean, every team has injuries, so I hate hearing that excuse about injuries, man. Every team has
Far from me defending Manchester United. I'm just going to...
It sounds like you are, though.
I said I'm giving Erik ten Hag some leeway as far as his questionable adjustments. That's all.
Having a World Cup winner, a Champions League winner sitting on the bench is definitely questionable. But let's get into the game. Manchester United, they won this one 1-0. This was, I would say, a game of missed opportunities for Manchester United. I can think of 3 golden opportunities between Højlund, Garnacho, and Rashford that they did not take. The first one, Højlund, a bit unlucky. Amazing save by Kaminsky.
Yeah.
In the first half. And also in the first half, Garnacho got put through one-on-one and just, I don't know what he did, man. What he needed to do was touch, shot. Instead, he took too many touches, gave time for Kaminsky to come out, cut down the angle, he saves it. And then Rashford did touch and shoot, and he kicks it right at the goalie in the second half.
Yeah.
But they got the one through kind of an unlikely source, Victor Lindelof. It was kind of the second play off of a corner, ball kind of bouncing around the middle. He's the first one to pounce on it. 1-0. But let me ask you a question. What would the pressure have been like on Ten Hag if they would have not won this game?
Dude, I don't even want to fathom what the pressure would have been like, because this is Luton Town, who at Old Trafford should never stand a chance. At home at Kenworth Road, okay, maybe.
They still shouldn't stand a chance, let's be honest.
We saw what they did against Liverpool.
We're talking about Manchester United, though, and I know we kind of talk about them in their past glory, but this is still one of the biggest clubs in the world. that has spent a lot of money, and you should be easily wiping the floor with the likes of Luton at home and away. I mean, let's be honest. That's what
Yeah.
should be happening.
Yeah, I agree. I just, gotta give Luton some credit after they drew Liverpool last weekend. So
That was a poor Liverpool performance, yeah.
it was.
Well, Luton, after that result, man, they're sitting in the relegation zone now on 18th place on 6 points. Man United up to 6th with 21 points.
Again, looking at the teams below them, I don't understand how Manchester
Brighton,
United are in 6th place.
I told you, they've been doing all right in the Premier League. Their last loss was to that City team. And then it's been Carabao Cup, Champions League, where they've been less than impressive, but they're getting the 3 points in the league, which is why it's hard to shit on them. I mean, they're not playing well, like you say. Their style of play isn't the best, but they're getting points.
Yeah, and I mean, even with 5 losses, even with 5 losses, they're still only 7 points out of first. It's not terrible where they're at. And it's a long season. We've only played 12 matches. Got 26 more to go. A lot of time for them to catch 7 points on the rest of the table. So
yes, there is. So there's not too much to worry yet. I mean, statistic-wise, Ten Hag hasn't been doing terrible.
No.
Off of his first 50 games in charge of Man United.
I will say the biggest concern for Erik Ten Hag, if I am him, is the amount of goals they've scored. Because they've only scored 13 goals this season, which is pretty much worse than every team minus 16th down. So Fulham, Bournemouth, Luton Town, Sheffield United, and Burnley.
I mean, that's been obvious. Like I mentioned, Højlund has 0 goals in the Premier League.
Well,
Rashford looks like a shadow of himself from last season.
Really?
And then who else is scoring goals? Bruno, Antony's not scoring.
Well, you think of
Carnacho hasn't scored.
All of the wingers and strikers they have. Rashford's the only one with a goal.
Isn't scoring. Yeah. I mean, so yeah. I mean, Scott McTominay is their top goal scorer right now.
It's why he's getting a run in the first team.
It is. All right. Well, let's move on to a team also threatened by relegation along there with Luton. We had Arsenal hosting Burnley at the Emirates.
Yes. And, for all of you who want to clown on Arsenal, we were talking about Burnley. So
yes. So this one ended 3-1 to Arsenal. I will say it was a good performance by Arsenal overall.
Yeah, overall. I would say it was great. I'd say one little blip there where Burnley scores. Other than that, pretty much walk in the park, easy business for them.
Yeah, they scored first through Trossard, kind of putting his body on the line there, hitting the post as he got the ball in. You mentioned Burnley, they would equalize in second half off a deflected shot. Lovely run, though, by who was it? Koleosho?
Yeah.
I think it was, out muscling Tamayasu. Deflected shot goes past Raya, and then a couple corner kicks. William Saliba.
William Saliba.
And then a beautiful scissor kick from Zinchenko to make it 3.
Oh, what? Yes, Sensei. Oh.
Karate Kid showing up.
Arms up and all. Shit, that thing went right into the upper V. I thought it was going over, and it just dipped right under the bar. I was curious
how he kept that down too, man. But, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, best Karate Kid impression I've seen in the Premier League in a while, but yeah. Great goal by Zinchenko.
Yep, and then just before the end of the game, the 83rd minute, Fabio Vieira would be shown a red card. Studs up. High.
Yeah.
Didn't really catch him, I would say, but studs were up. It was high.
Studs were up. Dangerous play. One could call it violent conduct. I mean, when I first saw it, it didn't look like he even made any contact, but watching the replay from a few different angles, he definitely scraped the front of his knee. So, yeah, definitely deserved for him. I would say probably, youthful exuberance at that point.
And you mentioned Arsenal really never got out of first gear. I would say they did. Once that equalizer went in, then you could see them kind of pick it up a bit. But overall, it was cruise control, I guess.
Wasn't your, the Arsenal that, we've seen in the last season and a half. So, as far as offensively, otherwise defensively, I mean, they got the best defense in the Premier League. So, I will take that any day of the week.
So yeah, they're currently sitting in third place on 27 points, whereas Burnley are now bottom of the table. Basement dwellers. I mean, you look at their last 5 games, they're all losses, man.
Yeah. And I mean, Sheffield United in their last 2 games have picked up as many points as Burnley has all season.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I see it there, yeah. A win and a draw. But so, yeah, Burnley, man,
I don't know, man. I don't know how to fix this team because Vincent Kompany wants to play how he wants to play, and we've been harping on it all season.
I mean, they've really struggled to score goals, and they are conceding goals.
Yeah.
They have the least amount of goals for in 9, and they got 30 goals against.
Which is second most in the Premier League. So
second most behind, Sheffield, who have 31.
Yeah.
They're in trouble.
They're in big trouble. Yeah.
They're in big trouble.
And the more games they lose in a row, the less confidence they're going to have and the harder it is to be able to get out of that hole. So it should be interesting.
It doesn't look like they're getting out of that hole, if I'm being honest.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think so either. Not anytime soon. But I will say, Leandro Trossard's goal was the 1,000th goal at Emirates Stadium. You know who scored the first?
Who?
Gilberto Silva. Yeah.
I do remember that, yeah.
Number 500, the gaffer himself, Mikel Arteta.
Oh, I did see that on some Instagram posts. There you go. Some fun facts that only an Arsenal fan will enjoy.
Or anyone that follows ESPN FC on Instagram.
So. There you go. Well, let's move on to a different club in London. We had Crystal Palace hosting Everton. I thought Palace would win this. You picked a draw. Boy, were we both wrong, man. Mm-hmm. Everton coming away with this one.
Everton have been on fire lately, man. Good for them.
They have. This was a good game. This one ended 3-2. And they're continuing their hot form, man. Sean Dyche is getting it going. Everton, they took the lead after just 52 seconds. Vitaly Mykolenko would get Everton going, man. You'd meet Jack Harrison's floated ball to the back post. I will say Jack Harrison coming into this team has been fantastic for Everton.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely taking his game to the next level.
It seems like they were relying on Dwight McNeil on that left side to really create for Everton. That was kind of their main threat, which, I mean, that makes them easy to stifle if that's your only threat. But now they got Jack Harrison down that right side, man, and proving to be a good signing.
Yes.
And then Crystal Palace would strike back. Eberechi Eze doing what he does best, man. Ghosting past defenders into the box, drawing, winning, and scoring a PK in the 5th minute.
Yeah, man, he's back to his best, and it's so exciting to see him back from injury because he caused some havoc in this match.
He did. So just 20 minutes later, I thought this would have been a PK, if I'm being honest with you, man. Eberechi Eze again, ghosting past the defender, which I got to say, man, if you guys want to see a sweet move, go watch that one. He just turns this defender inside out. It was beautiful. He doesn't get the PK, though. He gets booked for diving.
Yeah, and I mean, VAR would check it, and they said it wasn't clear and obvious, but I mean, there was 2 views on it where it looks like his back leg gets taken out by Braithwaite.
I would say it was his front one. His toe almost gets hit too. And so I thought it was a foul. I thought for sure, another PK. But no.
Nope. Yeah, you could definitely see it clearly either way on the replay.
Everton, they would get their second. Mykolenko would see his volley hit the post in the 49th minute, only for it to fall to an open Decore for the easiest of tap-ins.
Yeah. That was the simplest of tap-ins.
Decore, he looked good in this game.
Yeah, Remember, quoted it before. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But when he's good, man, looks like a world beater.
Well, he's been good here for, I would say, a hot minute. He's been playing much better the past few games, as well as Everton as a whole. So maybe coincidence? I don't know. Decore plays well, Everton play well. Palace, they would level the match after, honestly...
The head scratcher.
It goes to show you that these kinds of mistakes happen even at the highest level of professional football. It was basically a ball over the top. Tarkovsky, Pickford, they don't talk to each other. They both leave it for each other. And Edson Edouard, great control to trap it, but then just slots it home.
But yeah, I don't know. Tarkovsky ducks. Pickford stops. I don't understand it.
Happens at the highest level, man.
Yes,
Poor communication, yeah. Everton, they would get their winner in the 86th. Decore would play a wonderful ball to Idrissa Gana Gueye, who slots it home past Johnstone. Massive win for Everton. 7 points in 3 games. Fantastic.
Yeah, nobody would have expected them to get 7 points out of those 3 games. And I mean, they've won 3, drawn 1, and lost 1 in their last 5. I mean, that kind of form puts most teams towards the top of the table.
Yeah, and you look at the teams they beat. So they beat Crystal Palace, and then before that was a draw against Everton. They beat West Ham, and then their loss before that was to Liverpool, which, I mean, no shame, losing to Liverpool at Anfield.
Yeah, and the Merseyside derby, yeah. But it was close.
And then before that, they did have an embarrassing one a couple weeks before that against Luton, but looks like they've turned it around since that Merseyside derby.
Yeah. I mean, they're 10 points off the bottom and 8 points off the relegation zone. So keep picking up points like this, they'll be safe easy. Yeah,
I don't think it'll be like last year where last day heroics have to be had to stay up in the Premier League.
That with probably 6 or 7 games left, the bottom 3 will probably be decided.
By February, they might be decided.
Yeah.
The way it's going. All right, well, let's talk about one of those teams that is in that relegation fight. We had Bournemouth hosting Newcastle.
Yeah.
Surprise result of the week, I think, for me, is Bournemouth, man. They won 2-0.
Yeah, and, if before looking at the team sheet, I would say 100%. Even looking at the team sheet, I would say, yeah, probably Newcastle should have won this game. But no. I mean, Newcastle plagued by injuries. They started the match with their bench having not started a single Premier League game, and 7 of them hadn't even had an appearance this season. So, lots of injuries for them, but they still should have had the quality to put away Bournemouth.
So I alluded to this, I think, in the last episode about them having to go to Dortmund and then go down to the south coast to Bournemouth, and that traveling time, staying in hotels, it starts to wear on you. And then obviously it doesn't help they had injuries. Bruno Guimaraes was suspended for this game. But that traveling in Champions League, I almost wanted to put a draw. I picked Newcastle to win this, which I got wrong, obviously. But a draw also would have been wrong. But I suspected Bournemouth would get something from this game. I really did, just with that traveling and the way they've been performing, especially as we saw in Dortmund.
Yeah, I mean, they looked so tired midweek, and then having to go back home and then straight to the South Coast. It's a lot of traveling.
Especially with their style of play. They like to really press, high energy.
A lot of running. Yeah.
But it would be Bournemouth, man. They came out with that high press and that high energy, and they put Newcastle under pressure right away. Pope was having to make saves left and right. I think the best chance for Newcastle came from Longstaff. Neto pulled off a fantastic save. But the 2 goals, Dominic Solanke, man.
Yeah,
remember him?
I do. Rolling back the years, man.
So I think I saw something. He's got... let me look how many goals he has. I want to say it was 6 or 7 goals already this season.
Out of their 10.
So he's got 6 goals out of their 12 games.
out of their 11 goals total. So more than half of their goals as a team.
But that's how many goals he scored in total last season. He's already matched his tally from last season. That's what I wanted to get at.
Holy cow.
But yeah, he would get the first goal. Again, high pressing. The ball kind of gets deflected behind the back line of Newcastle's. You could see Fabian Schär trying to get there. Wasn't going to. Solanke pounces on it. Just blasts it past Nick Pope. Second goal came off a corner. Kind of a funky improvised finish. Like, it almost looked like he was playing hacky sack with the ball. The ball was kind of behind him, and he hacky sacked it. It was an interesting one, but he made it work, man, and got it into the goal. Newcastle, they looked tired and just lethargic. Not good.
Yeah, and to make things go from bad to worse, you can now add Miggy Almiron to that lengthy injury list.
He did come off. You're not wrong. And Fabian Schär, like I said, he was
hobbling around most of the match.
He was hobbling, yeah. So did you see Kieran Trippier go up to the fans and chat with them? And
I did.
He was basically telling them, "Have you seen our injuries?" and kind of stuff like that. What'd you think of that?
So yeah, I mean, the fans were calling out Newcastle after the match, and I mean, let's be honest. Rightfully so. They traveled all the way to the South Coast to watch this pitiful Newcastle performance by their standards. But I'll tell you what, I love it, man.
Do you?
The Geordies are ridiculous. They should kind of get after the team, but at the same time, man, you got to take into account the traveling. It's their captain standing up for the team. Yes, I understand injuries is kind of an excuse, but I mean, if you're
saying a lot of excuses that for me as a fan, I would not be okay with.
I love it when players go and, interact with the fans. But I mean, it just shows you the standards of the club now at Newcastle. So that is really why I love it.
So I don't mind him talking to the fans, but I didn't like his answers. Like, if I'm a Newcastle fan, I would want to see the things that necessarily aren't required when you have all these injuries, like heart. Every player can show heart and hustle and desire, which you did not see in that game. Whether that's down to Eddie Howe and his rotation or the way they're training or, whatever, then it comes down to the management. But I'd rather have a player say, "Yeah, sorry we didn't try our hardest. We'll do better next time. Thank you for your support." I'd rather him say something like that versus, "Oh, well, have you seen our injuries?" Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'll give Kieran Trippier some
if
credit.
Those are the players that are our backups, then apparently Newcastle has lots of work to do, and that's what I would be saying.
Yeah.
Like, I get you have the injuries, but you still have to have a squad available. You want your backups to be right there, ready to go, chomping at the bit to get into that starting lineup, especially a lot of those younger players, and you want to see them perform well.
Yeah, and you want like-for-like substitutions where the quality doesn't drop as much as it did for this match. But, I mean, with Trippier, for me, a lot of it is the emotions are high for both fans and players, especially after a loss like this. Probably not the best time to go confront your fans, but I do love to see it. It doesn't happen very often, so.
Well, okay. Let's move on to Aston Villa hosting Fulham. Villa at home, pretty much know how it's going to go. One way and one way only. And that's what it was. 3-1 to Villa.
Also, 13th straight, or unbeaten in 13 at home now. I'm not sure if it's 13 wins or just 13 straight at home, but
I think I saw something like it was 18 all competitions for Villa at home. They made that place into a fortress. And they came out flying in this one, man. Thinking they had a handball in the 6th minute, only for the ref to go to the monitor, and it hit the player square in the face. Not the hand.
I mean, if you're watching,
his arm was up, though. Like, it was hard even on the replay.
Like, did it hit? Yeah, I initially thought it hit him in the arm, but when you're looking at Castagna argue, you can literally see the ball print right there on his face.
And he's like,
did you see this? You see this?
And he wasn't worried at all. Like, he's like, "Don't worry, guys, this isn't going to be a PK. It hit me square in the face."
I laughed seeing literally the ball print on his eye, essentially.
VAR got one right, though. Good job.
They did. And wonderful work from VAR to send Simon Hooper over to the monitor. Weird.
Finally, right?
God.
Too bad Wolves haven't had that happen to them the past prior weeks.
Yeah, VAR. It's some might call it schizophrenic.
Something like that. Villa, though, they would get their lead through an Anthony Robinson OG, man. Yuri Tillmans puts a beautiful ball into the box. Unfortunately, comes off Robinson into the goal.
Nothing really he can do about it, so we can't really fault him for that one.
He had to get something on it, because I think he had Ollie Watkins or some Aston Villa player right behind him.
Yeah.
John McGinn, though, man, he would make it 2-0 in the 42nd with a lovely strike from outside the box into the bottom corner. And how about that move to go past Ligne, man?
Ooh, just dummies him. Paulinho goes the other way, pretty much falls over. Ugh. Puts it right into the side.
One of the best defensive midfielders in the world, John McGinn, sitting him down. Love it. Love it. Villa, they'd make it 3-0 in the 64th with a goal from their main talisman, Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, man.
McGinn with some wonderful turn to play in Leon Bailey for a cross. Anthony Robinson, man, with a comical slip on the ball.
It looked like he stepped on the ball and just fell over it to put Villa on the break, man. I feel so bad for the guy. He ended the game well, but some of his mistakes in this match.
Couple howlers. He is prone to that, as us U.S. fans will have noticed.
Attest to, yeah.
But hey, the drought is over for Raul Jimenez. He gets his first goal in 18 months. Have it be an easy tap in, late consolation goal in the 70th minute.
Yeah, Anthony Robinson making up for his previous two mistakes, getting back behind the defense to square it to him. But I'll be honest with you, Jimenez probably should have had another one in the 48th minute, but he was denied by literally Emi Martinez's fingertips to push it off the post. Unlucky for him.
I always kind of root for Raul Jimenez. I know the poor guy's been through a lot.
Yeah, we saw firsthand the blow that he took to the head.
Skull fracture, and then...
Hasn't been the same.
Obviously seen him play for Mexico. So that one ended for Villa, man. Villa sitting pretty. They are in 5th place.
Top goal scorers in the Premier League, man. Aston Villa.
No, they're not.
They were going into that Man City game.
They were after that game, and then Man City scored 4. So, so then no, they are not the top.
Well, then second. All right. For them, that's pretty damn good either way.
They are second. I'll give you that. But on the other end, man, Fulham, 1 win in their last 5.
Yeah, man.
Sitting in 16th.
4 points out of 15. They're not looking very good, man. And they're struggling to score goals.
They're missing Mr. Alexander Mitrovic.
Big time.
And his 20 goals that he scored or whatever last season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big miss, man. When you get that many goals from a striker, how are you going to replace him, especially for a club of their stature? You're not going to be able to spend all of that.
Raul Jimenez, who got his first in 18 months. I told you, I think at the beginning of the season, man, losing Mitrovic is going to hurt.
Detrimental.
All right, well, let's move on. We had Brighton hosting Sheffield United at the Amex. This one would end 1-1.
Oh, Brighton, oh, Brighton, oh, Brighton. Early this season, really making us dream that they could make a Champions League place with their play, and now winless in 5.
Only 1 loss out of those 5, and then 4 draws, but...
It's the teams they're drawing against, man. Bad.
Interesting lineup from Brighton. They made 6 changes from the team that beat Ajax midweek. Noticeable absences include Lewis Dunk and Evan Ferguson to injury. But Caro Matoma, João Pedro starting on the bench, Ansu Fati starting, and Buonanotte starting.
Yeah, it was an interesting lineup. That's for sure.
They did get off to a fast start in the 6th minute and found themselves in the lead as Simon Adingra would slot it past Fotheringham after, honestly, one of the goals of the weekend, I will say. He goes past 2 players, does a 1-2 with, who was it that he does a 1-2 with? Buonanotte.
Buonanotte, which honestly, Buonanotte, it doesn't even look like he means to, pass it the way he does off the inside of his foot behind him. But it worked. It was amazing.
It worked. Beautiful finish by Adingra. 1-0 to Brighton.
Holy crap, what a goal it was.
And honestly, they should have had more. They had missed a few good chances. Especially Ansu Fati, man. He had a golden opportunity. Squanders it.
Several. Especially in that first half. And in the second half, man, he had a couple. Buonanotte had one. João Pedro had one. They just squandering chances left and right.
They did, and they would come to regret those missed chances. In the second half, Mohamed Dahoud, man. Red card.
Straight red, stamping on Osborne's ankle. Do you think it should have been a red?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It was similar to the Marcus Rashford one in the Champions League where he's trying to kind of shield the ball. But Dahoud was looking at the player, whereas Rashford, I give him a little bit more leeway because he wasn't even looking at the player. He just goes to step to shield it.
Yeah, and Rashford was also turning while he did that, right? So just unlucky that he made contact.
Dahoud, you can tell he tries to step over the ball to shield it in a similar way, but he's looking where he's stepping.
Stomp straight down. Yeah.
And he gets, it was nasty. Yeah. High studs. For me, it was a red. Was it a red for you?
100%. Yeah. It was bad. As soon as you see it, you're like, why didn't the ref immediately blow his whistle? I don't understand it.
Yeah, and then 5 minutes later, man, Sheffield will get their equalizer. Bogle was sending a low cross, and it was turned in by Webster into his own net.
Yeah. I mean, it was great build-up play, moving the ball from left to right. Very dangerous cross in, but, I mean, it would have been a goal either way as Cameron Archer was literally
right
standing there. And as the ball gets hit by Webster, you see Archer swing his foot like, hey, I'm going to finish this anyway. So, yeah, it was going in no matter what.
And I will say, Sheffield, I would say, had probably one good chance where they could actually nick this one and won it.
Yeah. But, same story that's plagued them all season. Poor finishing.
But Sheffield, man, sitting on 5 points. Not bottom. Still in relegation zone, but not bottom.
But they went from 1 to 5 points in 2 games. Gives them some hope.
It does give them hope. And then Brighton, man, they're on a little bit of a skid here. They're sitting in 8th on 19 points.
Yeah, winless in 5, 4 draws and a loss. That's a lot of points dropped, especially for a team of their stature.
Yes. Well, especially for how they've been playing since last season.
Yeah. But, if they stay there for the rest of the season, I will be spot on with where they finish. So,
okay. All right, well, let's move to London.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll move to London, man. We had West Ham hosting Nottingham Forest. This one would end 3-2 for West Ham.
This was a great game as well.
It was a really great game. Especially about the last 20 minutes or so. Yeah. Oh, it was fun. So West Ham would find themselves in the lead after just 3 minutes, man. I don't know what Dominguez was doing. He tries to play like a crossfield ball and hits his own player in the ass. Straight up hits him in the ass.
Right in the ass. Drops straight to Paqueta, who just takes it forward a couple of touches and then fires it home.
Fantastic shot by Paqueta, but
it wasn't
terrible
easy
giveaway.
There,
I mean, terrible mistake.
Comical. And it almost looked like the player it hit tried to get out of the way as well once he realized he was standing in front of the ball that was going to come across.
He's not even facing, obviously, if it hits him in the ass. I mean,
but
it was funny.
Miscommunication, whatever it was hilarious.
Awoniyi would have a good chance, man. He had a fantastic header, but what a save from Areola.
What a save. Oh,
just
Sprawling.
reaching back, claws the ball out. Oh. But Forest would get their leveler. After, I gotta say, it was Sangare, man, had a fantastic tackle. And then plays a fantastic ball to, I think
Morgan
it was
Gibbs-White.
Morgan Gibbs-White, who takes a shot. Ariola saves it. And then Awanyi there to just kind of bundle it across.
Yeah, just stumbling, bumbling, takes a touch, falls over, and the ball goes in the net. Striker's finish.
It was. And then Forest took the lead, man. Second half, they're right back. Ola Aina or something like that.
Yep.
Fantastic run down the right side, cuts it back. Alanga, first time finish. Goal, takes off his jersey, goes to celebrate with the Forest fans.
Dude, what a player he has turned into at Forest compared to when he was at United.
Oh, United wish they had him right now.
Yeah, they do.
A forward player scoring goals? What? United doesn't know what that looks like right now.
And creating assists as well. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fantastic right now.
West Ham, though, would get the equalizer in the 65th through Jared Bowen, man, off a corner.
Dude, he's one of the shortest players on the pitch and somehow wins a header on a corner right in front of the net.
Fantastic header, too, man. He deflects it.
Header.
And, yeah.
How it fell to him, no idea, but good for him.
Deja vu, man. West Ham, they get their third goal. James Ward-Prowse corner. This time it finds Thomas Souček. It was just 3 minutes from time. Honestly, I'm going to tell you why I think West Ham won this game. Because Forest didn't play bad. I will say Forest looked shaky at the beginning and at the end of the game. But they had good bits of football in between in there. And honestly, I played well.
Yeah, I would say there was a good part of this game where I thought they were actually going to win.
Yeah. I think the difference for me was the quality of players that West Ham has. They have difference makers on that team. You know, you look at Jared Bowen, who scored. You think of Mohamed Kudus, James Ward-Prowse, Lucas Paqueta. Those types of players are game-changing players, and that is why I think they won this game.
Yeah, I mean, James Ward-Prowse assisting the last 2 goals. Jared Bowen scoring one of those goals.
Paqueta got one.
Paqueta got one. Kudus looked good all game. So
he did. He looked very dangerous. I love watching Kudus, man, because he always looks to go forward. He rarely. I saw him go back maybe a couple times, but he always looks to go forward and get at that defender, which I love. I love it when wingers do that. That's why I love Jeremy Doku right now, because he looks to get after those defenders.
And I love Jeremy Doku because he does the same move every time, and it works.
A little shimmy, man. He does that little shimmy,
and then he goes to the right. It's like Macklemore. Shimmy, 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 shimmy to the right. Shimmy, shimmy. Anyways.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Liverpool, who hosted Brentford at Anfield. Liverpool at Anfield, man, this season I've been pretty much unstoppable. No difference this game.
Yeah, I think they average winning by 2 or more goals every single match this season at Anfield. So
they won 3-0.
Yeah.
It was a pretty comfortable win, too. Like, I will say, Brentford had a couple opportunities, but not a whole lot. And Bomo got through one-on-one versus Alisson. Alisson saved it. And then there was, like, a corner in the second half that Alisson had to save. Other than that, it was mainly just kind of chaotic series right in their box, but didn't end up in shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than a few moments of that, I mean, this was all Liverpool.
100%.
It was easy for them. I mean, they had 2 goals taken back early to offside.
Yeah, the first one, Nunez was offsides by literal, like, I want to say millimeters, but it was probably like 2 centimeters.
Okay.
Like the edge of his boot.
Mo Salah, man. Is he top 1 or 2 best players in the Premier League right now?
Right now in the Premier League, I would say number 1. Yeah, easy.
There's not many better, is there? He gets 2 goals in this game. First one came in the 39th. Lovely build-up play. Trent plays a beautiful ball to Darwin Nunez, who lays it off for Mo Salah. He curls it past the goalie. 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets behind the defense and gets the ball, do you expect anything less? That's how good of a player he is. You always back him to score from that position.
Had a possible red card check in this one after Endo went in hard on a tackle. It was for both players. They both went in sliding. I will say Endo's studs were up. He didn't really catch the guy.
I watched it a couple of times, and it looked more like his studs were down. He got to the ball, and I just thought it was a good 50-50 tackle, if I'll be honest with you.
I will say he got the ball, but his studs were up, man. If you look at his right foot, they were up. That's what I was looking at. Studs were up, but it's almost one of those things where you see two players sliding towards the ball. It's almost instinctive to put your feet up to try to protect yourself.
Right? You're not going to put your
you're
toes
both
down,
colliding, and so you'd rather hurt him than him hurt you.
Yeah, especially when you're earning thousands of pounds in wages a week. You
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
If you're Mo Salah. Speaking of Mo Salah, man, he got a 62nd minute, left alone, all at the back post. Fantastic header. Fantastic ball to him.
It was the easiest header he'll ever score in his entire career.
I don't think it was as easy as you think, man. I mean, you saw the header he missed against Luton. I think this one was harder.
Yes and no.
I think it was harder because he was further away from the goal, had a tighter angle.
But he also didn't move. He stood there, and it just looked effortless to put it in the net. And, I mean, I don't know, man. Brentford's goalie didn't even try for it. He probably could have saved it if he dove, let's be honest. But, yeah, I don't know how we missed that one last week. This week, he made it look like the easiest goal he'll ever score. How about that?
I also like how Anfield has cameras that show that ball stayed in play. But moving on, Liverpool get their third. Diogo Jota, man, beautiful finish in the 74th from outside the box.
Oh, you got me. Yes, it was a beautiful ball and a beautiful finish. Yes. You got me crying, man. That was good.
You like how I slipped that in there?
Yeah. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
I also will say, I'll give credit where credit is due, because I like to shit on this player. Virgil van Dijk looks a little bit like his old self.
Yeah, he's yet to be dribbled past this season. Only player left in the Premier League.
Other aspects of that defense, though.
A little suspect.
Andrew Robertson, Trent, can get caught. Konote still trying to figure out that whole Trent moving into midfield, covering that space, but not punished in this game.
No. Like you said, Brentford didn't threaten very much. They had maybe one or two chances. That was about it.
Well, let's get to the big one, man.
What a game
of the season so far, I would say.
Woo! I'm glad I watched this as a neutral, because if I was a City or a Chelsea fan, I would not have a beard. I would have pulled it out. All my clothes would have been everywhere, throwing them at things, celebrating. This game was absolutely nuts. But before we, compliment these teams on how they played, so this game ended 4-4 in a draw, but I just want to talk about the first penalty kick and call, because last episode we had talked about Anthony Taylor taking control of this game after being relegated to the Championship, and more controversy surrounds him.
I don't think it's as much controversy. For example, if this game would have ended 1-0 to that goal, then I could see a little bit more controversy, but so I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here. I can see why it was given. Personally, I would have let it go and probably not called a foul. But I'm going to tell you why I think it was given. Again, playing devil's advocate here. So you see Cucurella and Haaland, they both are grabbing each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haaland gets past Cucurella, and then you see him grab him from behind as the ball is coming in. And so I can't shit on Anthony Taylor too much because obviously he's watching the ball. And so he doesn't see Haaland and Cucurella both grabbing each other. He sees when the ball starts to come in, Cucurella grabbing him from behind. And so he gives a foul. And so I guess that's where you would rely on your VAR or your linesman. The linesman should have a clear view of that. He could tell the ref, hey, they were grappling each other. That didn't happen. And so I can't give Anthony Taylor too much fault for that call because he sees Cucurella grabbing Haaland from behind. Haaland outmuscles him, outpace him, gets goal side. Cucurella has to do something because he's in trouble at that point. And so that
it's Erling Haaland, yeah.
Because it's Erling Haaland, yeah. The guy's a beast in the box, knows how to find the ball. And so I can't fault the Anthony Taylor too bad from that standpoint. Having said that, like I said, having the hindsight of video replay and seeing them both grappling, I probably wouldn't have given it.
Yeah, for me, I'm not damning Anthony Taylor at all, right? As a ref, that's what VAR is supposed to do, is aid you in making decisions that you may or may not have seen from different angles. Ultimately, that's what VAR is for. What he saw, yes, I probably would have given a penalty too. However, VAR didn't have him go look at the monitor, didn't have him do anything. Again, it's just more controversy in games that he's involved in.
But it's not a clear and obvious error because, I mean, he's grabbing Haaland from behind, pulling him down.
But both players are grappling. Both players are pulling on each other. Even when Cucurella was grappling him, he still had a hand on Cucurella. For me, it's soft, and I think it's very harsh, and I don't think Cucurella deserved a yellow at all.
I don't think he deserved a yellow, no.
But, again, it's just controversial circumstances surrounding Manchester City and Anthony Taylor once again. Other than that, this game was absolutely fantastic. I just want to say that. I just want to get that out of the way before we talk about how good this game actually was.
It was, man. I'll talk about Chelsea first because Raheem Sterling and Cole Palmer had a chip on their shoulder.
Oh, this is probably the best game I've ever seen Raheem Sterling play. Like, he made Kyle Walker look like an average defender.
As a Chelsea player, yes.
As a Chelsea player, definitely. But he made Kyle Walker look average in this match. Like, that was the most fun I've seen between two players, and both of them had smiles on their faces the whole match. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So that after that PK that Haaland wins and takes, it's 1-0. Chelsea would get the equalizer 4 minutes later off a corner kick. Thiago Silva, man. The old man of Chelsea. Getting on the end of a corner.
Is he 38 or 39 now? Either way, man. He's closer to 40 than he is early 30s. I will say that. But what a header at the near post it was.
He's 39, yeah.
39, okay. But yeah, what a header it was. At the near post, flicks it to the far post, bounces in. It's fantastic.
It was. And then Chelsea, man, they were putting that high press on the City, making them turn the ball over. And Cole Palmer intercepts the ball, feeds it down the line for Reece James, who cut inside to find Raheem Sterling to put the ball past Ederson for the lead in the 37th minute. Chelsea were up 2-1, man.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, Chelsea, when they don't score this season, just look frustrated and unorganized. But once they score, they are one of the most entertaining teams I've seen in the Premier League this season. They're fantastic.
I do think Josko Gvardiol had a pretty big mistake in this one. You can tell it's a center back playing a fullback's role. Didn't quite get his body right. The ball kind of bounces off of him. Falls for Reece James.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of a mistake there. And then both teams, man, would just continue to press. Haaland and Foden were both superbly stopped by Sanchez. I will say, Phil Foden has one of the best first touches in the game, man.
100%. It's
some of these cross balls that he just kills, stops dead in their tracks.
It's like he's got glue on his boots.
Oh,
man. It's magical.
Most people don't realize how hard that is. A lot of people, here, especially here in the United States, they'll see a quarterback throw a football, 40, 50 yards, put it right there for a receiver to catch. I don't think they understand how that's the same amount of difficulty, just getting that ball just to die on your foot. Just stop. And he makes it look so easy.
Oh, effortless.
I think that's why people don't think that, because he makes it look so easy. Like, oh, that doesn't look that difficult, but it is.
Yeah,
it is very difficult.
Let's meet up. I'll play a ball to you like that. Let's see how far the ball goes away from you.
Yeah.
It's insane.
City would get their equalizer just before the half. Bernardo Silva would get behind the Chelsea defense, putting it across. That would find Akanji. It was kind of a second play off of a corner. They play a short corner. Bernardo Silva plays it in. Akanji, dude, with acres of space. Terrible defending off that. Terrible. City would take the lead 2 minutes into the second half. They came out flying.
Oh, chip on their shoulders.
Foden would find Alvarez down the right, who would play a cross ball for Erling Haaland to bundle it in with his nuts.
Literally. And then the fact that VAR checked this for a handball baffles me.
Oh,
it doesn't even come close to his hand until the ball's in the net.
It's about to cross the line, and it might hit like the back of his arm. But at that point, he's like stopping the goal. I don't know. Stupid. I'm glad nothing came of it. But yeah, I was a little worried there. And VAR checking, like, dude, that's a goal.
I thought it was comical that they even checked that. That's all.
I just loved how after the game, though, he says, "I've never scored a goal with my balls before." Erling Haaland said that.
And that's why we love him, folks.
Yeah, it was funny.
Brutally honest.
Chelsea would get the leveler in the 67th. Conor Gallagher find himself in a lot of space, man. No one coming out to press him. He has a shot parried by Ederson. Jackson beats the offside trap, puts it away. We're tied.
And what a game Conor Gallagher had in this one as well. He was like, where do you want him to play midfield? He's there and he is consistent every single game.
Quite a few Chelsea players, 10 out of 10, man. You think of Conor Gallagher, Reece James, look how good he did against Jeremy Doku.
Yeah.
I know even Cucurella gave away that penalty, but he also looked fantastic against Phil Foden.
Disasi as well. I would probably say no for Nico Jackson. He did miss some good opportunities.
But you think of Cole Palmer, Raheem Sterling?
Probably not, but everybody else.
Caicedo gave the ball the ball away a couple times, yeah.
But everybody else, pretty close to 10 across the board.
City, though, they would get the lead, man. None other than their guy who always comes in clutch. Rodri has a shot, takes a heavy deflection, goes past Sanchez.
I was so unlucky. I was feeling for Chelsea on this one because I was like, this game deserves to end in a draw, and City does what City does, and they score out of nothing. But this deflection, man, this ball was going to
I think Sanchez would have saved it.
I think so too. And then the deflection goes all the way across the net, hits into the side netting, and I just felt so bad for Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea, man, with their backs against the wall, they throw on another striker, Armando Broja. And I loved it, man, his move. He gets the ball in the box, fakes the shot, cuts it back onto his right foot. Ruben Diaz comes sliding in, cleans out his left foot.
I'm pretty sure Ruben Diaz was already sliding before he even faked the shot. Because he came out of nowhere, but he was already on the ground and slid maybe 10 yards.
It was a wet evening there at Stamford Bridge, so yeah, I'm not surprised. Just sliding along forever. PK, Cole Palmer, the former Man City player, the young 20-year-old man.
Yes. So cool and collective under pressure. And during this,
balls of steel, dude.
This argument that was happening between the Anthony Taylor and the City players and the Chelsea players, it was like a little brawl. You just see Cole Palmer with the ball 15 yards away, just standing there waiting. Cool, calm, and collective customer, this guy.
Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, he scores the PK, coolly tucks it away. Ederson guessed the right way. Wasn't even close to it. But I mean, what an ending. What a hell of a match, man. 4-4.
4-4, deserved draw, some tremendous individual performances. And this, if I'm a Chelsea fan, you're looking at this and you're like, okay, this is the new standard. It has to be the new standard for them. Cannot be below this for the rest of the season.
We'll see if they can keep it up. I do think this Chelsea team play better against an attacking-sided team.
They also play to their opposition. And teams that they have trouble with teams that sit back and try to absorb pressure.
They have to break them down because they cannot finish their opportunities.
Yeah. Weird.
But yeah, they look good right now, man. Their next couple games, they got Newcastle and Brighton and then Manchester United.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
With the way that Newcastle and Brighton are playing, could be an opportunity to seize on that. We'll see. Got international break first. Newcastle can still get healthy before their next match. So
yeah, Chelsea, they sit in 10th on 16 points. Man City stay first, 28 points. But Liverpool and Arsenal right on their heels, just a point behind.
Yeah. And speaking of tough matches coming up, City play Liverpool and Tottenham for the next two matches.
They do. So, they host Liverpool and then they host Tottenham.
And I'm just going to throw it out there, Premier League. How in God's name do you put a Liverpool and City match at 12:30 British Standard Time? How? It's the premier game of the weekend, and you put it as the early game on a Saturday. I'm just saying.
You don't want to wake up at 4:30 to watch it?
No, I don't. I will, but I don't want to. Okay.
Well, come over to my place, man. I'll record it. We can wake up at 7, just not look at our phone.
It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, man. We all know that we're just going to be fat and happy and want to sleep. Okay? I don't want to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Anyways.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was an amazing weekend in the Premier League. Bournemouth upsetting Newcastle. And game of the season, man. Man City at Stamford Bridge. 4-4. Don't forget to check out our Instagram, Facebook. Make sure to check out our Redbubble account. Help us keep doing this because we love it. It's fun.
Yeah. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe to the channel.
That's
5 stars on all your favorite podcast platforms.
And on that note, man, we love you guys. Thank you so much. As always, cheers.
Cheers.